everyone, my name is Bridget and welcome to my channel. For today's video, we are going to be doing some enclosure upgrades. The enclosures we're going to be upgrading today involve my Leopard Gecko branch, my Cornsnake Cornelius, and my Western Hognose Grendel. You guys have seen little bits and pieces of these guys here on my channel, and in that time they have grown quite a lot. So I'm going to take them out and show you them in person, of course, so you can show just how big they are, and then we'll get into the enclosure upgrades for them. Now that is with one exception. I cannot pull out Cornelius, and that is because he is very deep in blue right now. He's going to shed. But if you saw my Q&A video, you will have seen just how large he is. He is probably approaching like 26 or 27 inches long. He's a big boy now, so this upgrade is definitely needed for him. So yeah, that's enough of my rambling. I'm just going to go ahead and get started talking about these upgrades. Alright, so one of my upgrades involves this little guy right here. This is Branch, my Leopard Gecko. He turned a year old in February, so he is now rather large, as you can see. He's a full-grown guy. We had him in the Exoterra 18 by 18 by 12 that we started him out in when he was a juvenile, but he has grown beautifully. He's now a little chunk, so we definitely had to upgrade him, as you can see. So yeah, now you guys get to see a little bit of Branch, and I'll show you the enclosure in just a moment. Alright, so my next little guy, he's very angry with me right now, as you can see. This is my Hognose Grendel, and he has grown quite a lot. Like, it's been alarming. The fact that he's like tripled in size just blows my mind. So we did have him in a 10-gallon. He could have lived in the 10-gallon for quite some time, but he just, I don't know, he's growing so much, and I just feel like I want to give him more room. So because Branch was moving out of his enclosure, we thought that we would give Grendel that enclosure, which is the 18 by 18 by 12, so it gives him quite a lot more space to explore and hiss and puff and everything else. Now you guys are seeing a little bit of Grendel, and I'll show you his enclosure in a minute as well. I'm gonna go put this guy back now. Alright, so you got a little glimpse of the guys that I'm gonna be upgrading today, apart from Cornelius, of course. So now we're just gonna get into the enclosure upgrades. I hope you guys enjoy. Here's Cornelius's new enclosure. It is the Exoterra medium low, measuring 24 by 18 by 12. As you can see, I've attached his previous forest background to the sides of the enclosure. There's the heat tape situated to the left, and then we've also added these little foam pieces to the holes in the background so he can't escape. And now we're just going to start setting everything up. So first I'm just putting the substrate in there, which is just plain old aspen substrate, and I want to give him a little bit of a thicker layer since he's bigger now so he can burrow a little more. And I've also kind of built it up in the back just to give a little bit more dimension. Now I'm just going to add everything in there. There's his hot hide there, also with his vine he previously had that he really likes to climb. Then this guy in the middle we found at PetSmart. I thought he was super cool, but he had hollow eyes, so we actually used foam to spray into the eyes so that he can't get in there and get lost. And I've also attached a couple of leaves with some zip ties just to give it a little bit more character. So then I added his water dish here in the front, and I added this little floppy plant that he used to have as well. And then I made this climbing vine out of just a bird perch and zip tied a vine onto it. But when I started adding it to the enclosure, it wasn't very stable. So I decided to just kind of take everything back out and try and get this situated really well. So I used these really heavy rocks just to weigh it down in place. And this gives it a whole lot of stability in there and also a lot more texture and enrichment. So I think it looks really good, and it's also safe for him as well. So once I got the rocks in there nice and tight and situated, I started to kind of put things back. I got this rock here in the front, put his water dish back in place, made sure everything was nice and secure. I decided to put that vine back there on the side since he really loves it. And then I got his humid/cold hide there in the back corner and put the floppy plant right back there in the front. Then just to finish everything off, I topped the substrate with a bunch of leaf litter to give that added texture and that added enrichment. And here is his enclosure all complete. I really love how this looks. Everything looks so jungly and foresty and just really enriching for my little corn snake. Next up we have Branch's enclosure, and this is the same clip from Cornelius, but I wanted to show that it's just the exact same enclosure. The same situation here, I put his background back there on the sides, and we've got his heat tape situated there to the left. And now we're just going to go ahead and get everything started. I'm going to add Eco Earth as his base substrate. Eco Earth is not necessarily something that a lot of people like to use with their leopard geckos, but I don't find it being a problem, and I just kind of flatten it down as best as I can and put a bunch of things on top. So first we've got his slate tile in the front, which is where he eats, and then we've got his cool/humid hide/bathroom there to the right, his hot hide there to the left. Then I added this really big cork round for him that he could climb on top of as well as go inside. This homemade decoration piece that he had before, we put that there in the back center, his calcium dish there to the right, and then I started adding a bunch of his rocks that he loves to climb, and it also helps to cover a lot of that Eco Earth so that everything is nice and easy on their feet and their legs so they can climb around. I like to add a bunch of these rocks, as you can see, and then I also add these really big grape leaves of leaf litter just to cover some more of that Eco Earth and give them more texture. Once I had that down, I added a bunch of these little rocks just into the smaller spaces to fill it up a lot more. Once I was done with that, I topped everything with leaf litter once again, just to keep adding texture, keep adding enrichment. I really love the natural look of this. Then I added his water dish as the final touch. And here is his enclosure all complete. Again, I love how natural this looks and how fun and enriching it is. It gives them a lot of different textures and things to explore, and they also really love to dig around. Alright, and the final enclosure we're doing today is Grendel's, and this is actually Branch's previous enclosure. It's the Exoterra Small Low, measuring 18 by 18 by 12. Same thing here, I put his background back on there, and we moved the heat tape over to the right, and we also had to add foam pieces to the holes in the background so that he did not escape. Now we're just going to go ahead and get started setting everything up. Again, I'm using aspen snake bedding with him, and I'm going to add a pretty decent layer for him, a little bit more than he had before, so he can burrow a lot more. Now I'm going to start adding everything in. We've got his cool/humid hide up here in the front, his hot hide there to the back right. Then I added this homemade decoration piece that I kind of set up on the top so that he can climb it, as well as slithering underneath if he wants to. I added his rocks back in the back, that's where he's going to eat. His water dish there in the front. I added a little succulent piece there in the back, and I added his little magnolia pods back in there because they're nice and spiky. And then I added this big rock there in the center, which I thought looked really cool. I again topped everything with leaf litter, and now I'm going to add him in. And then here is Grendel's enclosure all complete. It looks so westerny and fun. I just love this so much for him, and I love that he's got more space. He's definitely a growing boy, and this is just going to be a lot of fun and a lot of enrichment for him as well. Well, alright guys, that's going to be it for my video today, showing you the enclosure upgrades of Grendel, Branch, and Cornelius. I hope you guys enjoyed. They are definitely loving all the space that they have now. Setting up enclosures is one of my favorite things to do ever, so I love when they do upgrades. I don't like when the babies grow up so much and so fast, but I love giving them more enrichment and more space. So I think that I definitely achieved that with these upgrades. So yeah, that's gonna be it for my video today. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did enjoy this video, please give us a big thumbs up and hit that subscribe button on your way out. I really appreciate it. Also hit that notification bell so you can know when I upload next, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!